Hello, everyone. Today, I will be talking about worker stress and job burnout in the workplace. My topic is worker stress and job burnout. Worker stressors include both work tasks and work roles. These work task stressors include physical and psychological demands of performing the job. The work role stressors include the stressors caused by being part of an organization. And the inclusion of both these stressors leads to job burnout, which is the process by which workers become less committed to their jobs and begin to withdraw from work. And this is very bad and negative for both the workers and the organization. My work related problem is that over summers I would work as a swim instructor for my old swim team, and the work task stressors included that I had to instruct dozens of students, and my coworkers also had to instruct dozens of students. The pool was also it was always filled to maximum capacity and maybe even more. And there were no breaks. So in a normal workday, I would be working maybe 4 hours, and each session would be 1 hour, and there would be no break in between. So just picture me being in a cold pool, just hours and hours on end, with no break. And these work role stressors that I had to experience included the lack of control I had with the practice sets and what I could actually teach. Because maybe I wanted to teach my students this way, but my supervisor Cameron really wanted to drive home a set list for us to use. Also, the physical work conditions, the pool was just cold, there was no heater, and the interpersonal stress I had with Cameron, my supervisor. We did not get along, uh, for lack of a better term. And this really affected my job performance. The textbook finds that work stress is the physical and psychological reaction to an event that is perceived as threatening or taxing. And this worker stress leads directly into work overload, which results when the job requires excessive speed, output, or concentration. And during my time as a swim instructor, I definitely experienced work overload. The job maybe it didn't require excessive speed, but it really required a lot of concentration and work output because I had to focus on every single student to really make sure that they were safe because the students I taught were from ages 7 to 17, and especially the younger ones, they just really do not care much about their safety, and they play around in the pool, and it becomes very dangerous when I'm unable to watch every single person at once because drowning is it's a very real scenario where someone might just die, and I would have been liable. This work overload really contributed to my feeling of constant fatigue and exhaustion. And the textbook findings describe burnout as a measure of three things, which is composed of emotional exhaustion, caused by excessive demands placed on a worker, depersonalization, which is when a worker acts cynical and sensitive towards their own coworkers and customers. And I really saw this when my coworkers were treating their students and the students' parents not too well. They were very strict and sort of adopted Cameron's strictness. And also, burnout included feelings of low personal accomplishment, which is a sense of hopelessness and frustration that me and my coworkers really felt. We felt that our work output and what we were doing it wasn't really effective, and our students were taking way too long to really learn how to swim. The journal article written by Baker, Job Resources Buffer, The Impact of Job Demands on Burnout, sought to test the job demands resource model, which is the model that examined the relationship between job demands and job resources. And these demands are basically aspects of a job that require sustained physical and mental effort. And the demands included work overload, emotional demands, physical demands, and work home interference. In relation to job resources, which are aspects of the job that are functional in achieving work goals, reducing job demands, and stimulating personal growth and development. And these resources were measured with autonomy, social support, quality of the relationship between the co-workers, the workers, and the supervisor, and performance feedback. And burnout was measured and assessed using the Maslach burnout inventory. And this article found that job demands are the most important predictors of exhaustion, while the lack of job resources are the most important predictors of absenteeism and poor performance. And some practical implications that this article proposed were that organizations really should provide employees adequate resources if they are seeking to really have happy employees that have good work performance and have good work output to really provide excellent customer service. And some proposed workplace solutions by the textbook included removing hazardous work conditions and improving the working environment. And this would have meant maybe fixing the heater finally, or even just removing some students from the pool because we had way too many students, and we just could not teach every student the same amount. Uh, or even just hiring more employees. And while the funding of the swim school may not have been able to hire more swim instructors, we totally could have pulled people from the swim team itself. I personally know people from the swim team that would have been willing to work for free in exchange for getting out of practice and really giving back to their communities by working as a swim instructor. And again, the journal article proposed hiring additional workers, similar to what the textbook proposed, or even recruiting from the swim team. And there definitely should have been breaks in between the sessions. This definitely would have helped out my mental health as well as my physical health for me and my coworkers. We would have gone sick way less. And if there are any questions, feel free to post them on the message board, and I will try my best to respond as soon as I can. Thank you very much for listening.